And here, to give us a glimpse of what this next generation of applications might look like, built on a new product, database.com, used by 87,000 companies, ready for the next generation, please welcome back Kraig and Dan. Thank you.
Hey, say, I wanna own it, wanna own it, I wanna own it, wanna own it.
Okay, thank you very much, Steve. And again, thanks to Dan and his team on stage for doing all of our demos live today. Only live demos at Salesforce. And now we're just going to show you one more thing. We've saved the best for last before Mark gets back on stage and closes out the keynote. Let's get right to it. Let's see the demo of database.com. Well, what happens with database.com, as soon as we log in, we're presented with the database.com admin console. And basically, what we can see are all the database instances that we have running right now. Databases for inventory, for projects, for scheduling, some system health, stability information down there at the bottom. But live here at Dreamforce 2010 right now, let's go ahead and create a new database from scratch. And in today's demo, we're going to show you an example of a recruiting database, something that every company does. So as soon as we name this database, what you'll see is our schema editor. You can use our editor, use the tools of your choice, and of course, every database starts with a table. Let's go ahead and create a table. Now, the basis of a recruiting system is, of course, jobs, the positions that we're all hiring for inside of our companies. And so what you'll see here is when database.com creates that table, it's got a bunch of standard fields out of the box. But if we wanted to add another field, it's pretty simple to do that. Let's add a field for location. And what you'll see here is you just give it a name, you give it a data type, and you can save it off, and that's what it's all about. Tables, fields, relationships in database.com. Now, to give you an example of what a complete database would look like, let's go ahead and pull up a finished recruiting database, which not only has that jobs table that we just created live here on stage, but a whole bunch of other tables as well. So here you see 5 tables, not only for jobs, for job fair, recruiting events, for applications, for locations. You see the primary and foreign key relationships that are all managed inside of database.com. And just to show you this is real, let's go ahead and bring up the command line. So we'll really geek out here for a second. And this is the terminal window of database.com. This is an app that was built by Progress Software that uses a JDBC driver to database.com. Standard SQL is the input. So here we're going to select a name and an open date from the jobs table, ordered by description, and we're going to show you the first 10. That's what limit 10 means. So let's run that query against database.com. And in real time, we get the results back out to the terminal app. And you see we've got data in this database. We're recruiting for the positions of sales rep and marketing, quality assurance, but what's the most important job at Cirrus Computers? The highly coveted position of lead engineer. And now that we've got a database, we've got data in that database. It's live running in the cloud right now on database.com. What do most companies want to do with this? They want to put it on their website. So let's do that. Let's go ahead and bring up the website for Cirrus Computers. And what you'll notice is that this is the same site we were looking at in the Service Cloud. But check that out. In the top right-hand portion of the screen, we now have careers. We just grabbed that information out of database.com and formatted it for our website live right here. And now when somebody wants to apply for this job, let's go ahead and apply for the job of lead engineer. Well, how about Parker Harris? You just saw him over in the expo. Parker is a great engineer, the co-founder of Salesforce. When he wants to apply for this job, he just puts in his name, his resume, which means database.com supports structured and unstructured info, and he submits it into the app. Of course, this gets persisted into database.com in real time. Parker gets his thank you confirmation page. But what's behind that app? What's behind that app? Let's take a look. You heard Steve mention, it's all about openness, open languages, open platforms. You're looking right now at a Java application running on VMforce. You're looking at the Java code using a popular IDE, the Spring Source Tool Suite, and they're in Java using JPA, connectivity to database.com. That's the app you're seeing behind the scenes. Flip it back around if we can, please. Back to the Cirrus website. That's what's powering that app. Java code running on VMforce, 100% open, powered by database.com. Now let's take it a step further. Most companies have this, and they say, you know what, that's great. But what I want to do is I want to recruit on Facebook. How do we recruit on Facebook? Well, let's take this gentleman, Steve Fisher. He's a great engineer as well. Steve doesn't go out to the Cirrus website. When Steve wants to job hunt, he just hangs out on Facebook. And so Steve would go to the Cirrus homepage on Facebook. Every company has one of these now. And in addition to the wall and the info, the standard components of the Facebook page, guess what? Cirrus Computers has jobs. And right there, in real time, we just ran a query against database.com to pull back the open jobs. You see the position of lead engineer. But here's what's really cool. This is what users expect in today's world. If Steve wants to apply for this job, guess what? He doesn't have to go out to the website. He doesn't go to some other portal or console. He just does it right in Facebook, because that's what our users want right now. He uploads his name, his email address, his resume, and he does it all in the application where he lives every day, which is in fact Facebook. Steve gets the confirmation email, and guess what? His information is now persisted in database.com. And many of you might be wondering, well, what's behind that Facebook application? What was that written in? Well, in this case, what we're showing here today live is that PHP application running on Amazon EC2, a cloud platform, 100% open, talking to database.com. You see the Facebook app running on EC2 right now, and if we pull up the code, what you can see is this is, again, just PHP code, running on Amazon, communicating to database.com using open standards. And that's a key message. Java, PHP, any language, any platform, whether that's Dreamforce or EC2 or Google App Engine or any other. But Cirrus is actually a Cloud 2 company. In addition to the website, in addition to Facebook, what does Cirrus Computers arm its recruiters with as they beat the pavement looking for candidates out at job fairs? Well, Cirrus has used database.com to build an Android application, because it's not only any platform in any language, database.com is open for any device. So let's launch the Cirrus recruiting app. It's running natively on the Android platform right here on this Motorola Droid Pro. You can see here that we're recruiting at job fairs. We've got one down at Stanford, one over at Berkeley. Guess what? We have one right here at Moscone Center. Let's take a look at the jobs we're recruiting for today at Moscone Center. Well, there they all are, lead engineer, sales representative. And now when our recruiters are out at the job fairs talking to applicants as they come through, all they have to do is scan their badge. So what about when this gentleman might come by the booth and want to apply for the position of lead engineer? Well, all we have to do is take a picture of this gentleman's badge. We've got a QR code at the bottom of his badge. Just take a snapshot of that. All the information is going to get processed right here on the Android app. You can see that this person's resume as well, where he used to work. And as you all know, hiring it's a collaborative process. So before we submit this information back to headquarters, we can give this person a rating. I'll probably want to give this person 5 stars. I don't know about you. We can comment, like, I don't know how long it's been since this person has actually programmed, so maybe we should give him the programming tests. And we could submit this information back up into the cloud. Let's go ahead and submit this right here, over the Wi-Fi right here on stage at Moscone Center. Everything's stored up in the cloud in database.com. And lastly, I want to show you one final thing. And that is, what does Cirrus Computers give its hiring managers back at the office when all these applicants stream through? When we interview all these applicants, what type of app does Cirrus Computers give their hiring managers? Well, Cirrus gives them an iPad app, because it's not just the Google Android, it's not just the BlackBerry, the iPhone, it's the iPad. So when we go ahead and launch the Cirrus recruiting app on the iPad, you can imagine that people are coming through, oh, guess what? We have a list of jobs. We have a list of applicants. And the sharing and security model of database.com makes sure that nobody can see the applicants from another department. So if I'm in R&D, I can just take a look at the jobs and the applicants in that department. Let's take a look. Let's take a look at the people that have applied for the position of lead engineer. Well, first, you remember Parker Harris. Parker applied from our website. There's his resume. Let's take a look at the second applicant. Well, there's Steve Fisher. Steve applied out on Facebook. We even brought in Steve's profile picture from Facebook into database.com, and it's now showing up on the iPad for our hiring managers. And lastly, we had this gentleman. This gentleman applied from the job fair right here at Moscone Center. And of course, we could see this person's resume, but many of you know, we've all hired people before. What do? You print out the resume, you scribble notes on their resume as you're interviewing them, you email everybody on the team your notes. This is a collaborative process. It's a social process in the enterprise. And of course, it's all built into database.com. You don't have to code that social process. Let's go ahead and flip this person's resume around. And there you see collaboration right here inside of the application, powered by database.com. So you can see from the moment this person applied at the job fair, everybody who interviewed this candidate along the way, and of course Sarah right there at the top of the page sharing this person's code sample, looks like this is our man. And of course we could comment right here in the app if we wanted to as well. So what you've seen here today up on stage, let's take a look at all of it. Let's bring it all up. What you've seen first is you saw database.com powering a Java application, powering the Cirrus recruiting website. You've seen a Facebook application that was running on Amazon EC2, PHP code, being supported by database.com at the back end. You saw the Google Android app out at the job fairs, and of course the iPad app for the hiring managers back at headquarters. All of these applications, 100% open, any language, any platform, any device, they're all powered on the back end by database.com, the world's most trusted and open cloud database for the enterprise. Thank you very much.